So in this video, we're going to be talking about the Roman world and taking a look at some of the key things that are important to notice about it. So the Roman Empire develops as a means of encouraging Roman commerce, encouraging and developing the prosperity of the city of Rome. And it, of course, grows far beyond that. Even though for the vast portion of Roman history, Rome is the city of Rome for Romans. In other words, the identity of Roman is first and foremost within the actual physical bounds of the city of Rome. And to a very large extent, that doesn't change. Rome is always the axis of the Roman Empire, but the expansion of the Roman Empire has a massive effect on the world that it creates. In other words, all of this world that is ruled over by the Romans is bound together economically and culturally. And so, as it begins to ramp up as the economy accelerates, as all of these territories thrive by means of what the system of the Roman economy has to offer, the availability of products, the know-how, the expertise, the manpower, the ability to both manufacture, to find markets, to find one's fortune. All of these things, flourish not only in Rome, not only in Italy, but throughout the provinces. Wherever the Romans go, within a couple of generations, they have planted a business sector in the most important quarters of the city. They have gotten a corner on the important markets, on the key things that the Roman economy has to offer. This location and the key resources that this region has to offer the Roman Empire, and before long, there's a knowledge and expectation of Roman commercial strength being found, far from Rome, in Gaul, in Spain, in North Africa, in the Greek world, in Syria, in Egypt. All of these places are part of the Roman system. The Roman Empire is not about the marching of legions. It's not about Roman governors. It's not really even about the empire. It's not really, the person of the princeps. The Roman Empire is this massive commercial organism that is the first component of what makes the empire feel safe and secure to the people that live within it. Stability is necessary in order for economy to prosper. Business is only done in environments where the businessmen feel safe, where entrepreneurs feel comfortable taking a risk. But on the one hand, the economic strength of the Roman economic system makes possible the political power of Rome. The Roman commerce goes out into the Mediterranean world ahead of Roman conquest and dominion. There are Romans that establish a trading quarter in Marseille, or in Cirta in Numidia, or in Alexandria, long before the Roman governors are administering these territories as part of the Roman dominion. The Roman economy comes first, and once the Roman economy is followed by and protected by the power of the Roman state and the power of the Roman military, that in turn allows the Roman economy to flourish even further. The main thing that gets in the way of this is the increasing burden of the military itself on the treasury. The vast expanse of the Roman Empire is protected by increasingly by standing armies, by large quantities of legions that are stationed in the provinces. By the time we get to Hadrian, the need for legions to protect the frontiers is even stronger. And so the need to recruit and pay the legions to feed them off of the local economy, to pay them out of the treasury of Rome, only accelerates exponentially, especially since the legion from the beginning is the constituency of the Principate that, to ensure their loyalty, expects to be bought off. Augustus, in his will, leaves a benefice to all of the soldiers of the legions, as Julius Caesar had done, and this becomes something that the legions expect, that the emperors will pay for their loyalty, and the emperors know that if they don't do that, there's a chance that they will switch their loyalty to their own commander. Remember that the legions have developed their own culture. This is a culture that's that's reinforced by traditions that are very powerful within individual legions and within the armies itself. There's a sacred element to that. The legionary standard, the eagle, the silver eagle that stands over each legion, that has the legion number, is actually a religious object, and is bound up with very long traditions within each legion. And the functional effect, the practical effect of camaraderie. These as legions settle into fixed locations, into forts, these become cities of their own, military cities in which the soldiers know each other, and people remaining in service for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Their connection to Rome is broken. Their connection is to this environment, which is very different from being a citizen of Rome. Their religious traditions are different, and the person that they have in front of them, they have each other, they have their centurions, and they have their commander. And if their commander is at all any good at bonding with his own soldiers, the loyalty that they have is going to be first to their commander. Whether the legion is loyal to the emperor in Rome is dependent on the loyalty of their commander and on the ability of the emperor to ensure that they are well paid for their services, with regular pay and with bonuses. And so, this is why we have emperors like Marcus Aurelius and Hadrian going out into the provinces, fighting amongst the legions, shoring up a direct connection with them. This is why we have the benefices. But this means that increasingly, as the legions become larger physically and occupy a larger space in the local economy and in the mindset, they become a greater burden on the economy. And ultimately, this is one of the factors that comes home to roost when the third century crisis eventually comes. But the other thing about the Roman economy is the extent to which it is made up of diversity. So, in other words, the Roman world is made up of all of these local places. And Romanization is not a complete thing. Romanization is designed to ensure that people see Rome as the center of the world, that they know that that wealth comes from interacting with Roman commerce, and that Latin is one of the languages that is spoken along with Greek throughout this entire empire. But the local traditions are are perpetuated and protected. And in particular, as we'll see in the next video, religion is something that the Romans can't export. They can export. They can export culture, they can export commerce, but the peoples from all over the Roman Empire hold on to their local heritage. They hold on to their local language as a second language. They hold on to their traditions and religion, and the Romans, reap the benefits of this. The diversity of the empire is one of its strengths because the Romans are aware of what different provinces have to offer to the economy. They're not interested in what they have to offer to Roman, to the city of Rome. But they are aware that Rome is strong because all of these different places are invested in their own role and their own aspect, their own face of what it means to be Roman. This is also true not just in terms of region and ethnicity, but also in terms of gender. There's an extent to which there's a greater awareness of the role that women have, especially at the top end of society, and this trickles down. The women of the imperial family are visible, and their contributions are known. And this is extended out to the governors. The wives of the governors are visible and well known in the provinces, and there are other women that are famous for having made a contribution. And having a function within the governance of the system. Women still are responsible for a private role. They're still not citizens. They still don't have an official function in the state. And yet, the wife of the emperor is generally Augusta. She has the same title as her husband, the Augustus. And the Augusta, has inherents the expectation that just as the Augustus is supposed to be like the original Augustus, so the Augusta is supposed to be like the original Augusta, Livia, that she plays a role in ensuring the position of the princeps within noble society, and that she is active in patronizing arts, in fostering business, in using the position of the royal family to foster and encourage art, culture, and commerce. And this perception reinforces the idea of the diversity of empire. The other thing that shifts along the course of the Principate is that a little after the year 200, the population of the Roman Empire, everybody throughout the provinces that has a certain amount of property, that is already a local citizen, in other words, is made a citizen of the Roman Empire. Up to this point, citizenship Roman citizenship had been carefully used as a gift, as a means of granting access into the system by important people in local provinces, key nobles, and as rewards for loyalty and behavior on the part of influential individuals. Occasionally, a town will get citizenship, but the grant of citizenship throughout the empire changes things. It allows for people throughout the provinces to be more invested, to have the rights and privileges of citizenship, as well as the duties. the emperor that does this has a practical reason, which is to say that citizens are liable for taxes, and so this is intended to solve a financial problem for the imperial treasury by vastly opening the tax base. But the way in which it plays out is one of the perceived duty that had been developed, because being a Roman citizen was so special out in the provinces, was a Roman citizen has a duty to participate locally in the Roman Empire. In other words, every Roman citizen out in the provinces is a representative of Rome and has a responsibility to make sure that things are working properly and to be an active participant in the community. And now that's extended to all the citizen body. The expansion of the franchise has the effect of more deeply investing the population of the provinces, not just in the idea of the Roman Empire, but in the practical application of the Roman Empire in their local communities. The way in which the Roman Empire expands is it focuses around cities, and in many ways the cities that Rome builds, or that it sort of takes over throughout the Roman Empire, that become local capitals, and that become major Roman hubs of commerce and culture. The model is the city of Rome. The city of Rome is the only true Roman city. And all of these cities out in the provinces become mirror images, become reflections of the city of Rome. And so, you have a forum that is set aside at the center of the city for the public administration of justice, and for and for public activities on behalf of the government. Often you have amphitheaters, sort of miniature coliseums where religious and popular games take place for the amusement of the masses and for the propitiation of Roman gods. And you have theater taking place, and theaters being built for this. You have a dress that's modeled on the city of Rome. You have marketplaces and goods that are a reflection of what's available in the city of Rome. Each of these cities becomes extensions of Rome itself. And so the patronage of the arts, and in particular literature and philosophy, that takes place under Augustus, and then another round takes place 100 years later, and so forth. These periods of flourishing of arts and literature are primarily at Rome, but not exclusively at Rome. The fostering of knowledge and the expansion of human understanding is part of what the Romans seek to accomplish. And this is something that the Romans absorbed from the Greek world. In other words, the Romans know that this is not their own tradition, but their absorption of the Greek world, even before they conquered the Greeks, their own self-Hellenization was designed to address that shortcoming in Latin tradition, and to they consciously become sort of a Greco-Roman culture in order to combine everything that they're proud of in their own heritage and the things that the Greeks had excelled at. Human understanding and philosophy, science, literature, rhetoric, all of these things that are associated with the Greek are now associated with the Roman Empire, because they have grafted this onto what it means to be Roman. And so this is taking place in throughout the Roman world. The Romans not only invest themselves in existing cities, but build cities that are Roman cities, At first, these are largely to settle, ex-soldiers in. This goes back into the Middle Republic. But these colonies become, the most important hubs of Roman culture and commerce, and many of them are still, very important cities today. And so the the culture of the Roman Empire is focused upon cities, in a way that it had not been true in these areas beforehand. The basic idea of the city in the ancient world is a place where people from the surrounding countryside go to travel to market, to trade their harvest for things that are available in the city, and as habitation for skilled laborers, masons, carpenters, smiths, this kind of thing. The Romans invested the city with a much greater role in in being, hubs of culture, hubs of commerce, and their interconnectedness in creating a Roman form of the cosmopolis. And this helps to. This is one of the ways in which all of these far-flung provinces are tied together. These Roman cities are connected to each other, even in the distant lands that Rome rules over. In these places you find Roman activities. You find games that are a central part of the population of a city being connected to each other. This is true, especially at Rome. Rome is a vast city. People tend to be, to focus on their own neighborhoods. One of the main ways in which Romans interact with each other and interact with the princeps, with the emperor, is in these public games. The games are dedicated to a particular god, but it's a mass social activity. Likewise, chariot races and other forms of public spectacle are designed, not just to keep the people happy. The whole idea of bread and circuses is not just to pacify the people by feeding them entertainment. In these games, in these activities in the Colosseum, the masses interact with each other, and they see the emperor as a physical presence and can interact with him in a way that is safe for all parties. And this, even if that interaction is negative, even if people are venting their frustrations by shouting, in the emperor's direction, or by cheering for a team, that is opposed to the team that the emperor is cheering for. All these are ways of venting, of releasing public tension, and of reinforcing a collective shared identity. This is happening in Rome. This is happening in the provinces. This is one of the secrets of how the urban populations are bound together and feel as though they're sharing a common purpose. There are also public institutions that the Romans build throughout the Roman world. Things like baths that are also sort of collective shared social experiences on a smaller scale. These are the kinds of things that allow for a shared identity that is that has a lot of components to it. In the provinces, to be a part of the Roman Empire is to have a connection both to the empire and to the city of Rome and to the local Roman presence, and also to your own culture, your own traditions, your own experiences, even in the city of Rome. to be Roman is to have a connection not just to everything that it means to be Roman, but to what has been grafted onto that to make Romanness even better than its origins. Its origins in the barbarian mud huts of the original Romans, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, before Romulus was even born. And this plays out as the foundation for Western European civilization as we see it today, and as for a great deal of other things as well. And we'll see, the final aspect of this in terms of religion, and how Christianity changes the Romans and Roman Christianity changes the world in the next video. For now, that's that.